Second of two stream was a little bit janky, isn't it? A little bit jinky. There you go. I don't even know what that is. I just invented a word. Let's bring in James Parker. This is the second stream. I do high noon every day, Monday through Friday at noon. And then we do this, Pugs and Parker. It's us. Hey, Parker.
How you doing?
I just invented a new word, and it sounds like it could be racist. I just invented a word. Did you hear what I said there? I said, I don't know. I said, there's something wrong with the camera. I think it's a little janky. And I don't know if I meant janky or whatever, but I'm
Jankies is already an existing vernacular, and jinkies is what Velma from Scooby-Doo. So I don't think you invented anything new. I think you didn't mean for that collection of consonants and vowels to come out in the way they did, and you surprised yourself.
Okay. All right, fine. I just also think it sounds a bit racist. I don't know against who. It just sounds like a racist word.
Right? Like against like the Serbians or something, like, you didn't mean
Jinky.
I didn't even know that was a slur, or the Bosnians or something like that.
Look, this thing's a piece of crap. It's some jinky made it. I don't know. I don't know what that would be. I don't know who a jinky would be. But
right now, some Bosniaks are sending some angry emails.
Could be anybody.
Hey,
Hi, James. Look at the energy. We both brought energy right there. That's like in the Avengers, where the Avengers fight each other and they all jump across the field. And they
can I start first? Can I just take over first tonight? Or you got something big you want to do? Because I didn't think there's like a huge overarching story we want to do. And usually when we do like the share screen, it works better from your side. So I'm going to send you the link here.
No. What do you mean? Is this a piece of video you want played?
Yeah, but it's from YouTube, and so it's like a share screen, and it's been my experience that it's better if that's done on your end.
Well, hold on, because the audio that you played on your end the last couple of days was the only good audio we've been able to play.
Oh, okay.
I believe you playing the audio is the better option because
good. Well, I have it set up over here too. So are you're familiar with the term Mr. Irrelevant, right? What's the definition of Mr. Irrelevant? It's a football term, but for the people who are watching.
Well, Mr. Irrelevant is it's kind of an honor because you're not undrafted, but it's the last person selected, the last official selection in the NFL draft on any given year. He is deemed Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, and so it's draft number like 315 or something ridiculous like that. So I looked at the Mr. Irrelevant for the Billboard Hot 100 for 2022 for the entirety of last year. And now look, no one keeps up with the countdown these days, but remember when like the top 40 countdown, you like almost knew, like everyone cared and it was a thing. Well, for those of us in the radio industry, it still counts for something.
James, one of my earliest jobs on Saturdays when I was an intern, one of my first paid hourly gigs was I had to play Casey's Top 40 in Chicago.
Dude, we all did one of those. Yeah, I did AT Top 40 with like Ryan Seacrest or whatever, and Rick Dees had one.
And I loved doing those shows because they were fun. They were the countdown, Anyway, go ahead.
All right, so we have this weird thing that's also I just like telling the people about what's going on in the background of the radio industry because it's such a tornado of doo-doo right now. And the fact that they used to count gold records and platinum records by how many literal physical records you sold, but in the modern era, no one's buying records or CDs or anything physical. Right. And in fact, there's a large number of people who don't even buy the intellectual property of the song. They rely on streaming. And so now in order to certify a song as gold or platinum or, being in the top 100, you have to count what it does on all platforms or as many platforms as they can attempt to quantify. So if it's played through Amazon Music, if it's played through Apple Music, if it's played through Spotify, if it's played through YouTube, as long as it can get that BMI ASCAP, the official designation, and it's not just some random piece of audio floating out there, but if it's something that's being tracked. We were waiting for this to happen, and it finally happened, and it happened with the Mr. Irrelevant of the Billboard 100. A viral video song that wasn't intended to be a song, that never got any radio airplay, made it on the top 100 for the year of 2022.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean a viral video song? Explain
Well,
this to me.
okay, so Baby Shark is an example. Baby Shark was never played on any radio station with a straight face, except for morning shows that go, "Doesn't this suck? This is the worst thing ever. Kids listen to dumb stuff," right? Like we didn't listen to dumb stuff too. But you started to just wait for the moment in your head when one of these songs actually got enough traction on YouTube and these other streaming platforms to catapult it into meaningful existence. And it has happened. And it finally happened this year. We have the first viral video, exclusively a viral video song, because the guy who did it is not an artist. The guy who remixed it is not an actual artist. They just did the right thing by actually registering the intellectual property of the song with, I don't know what they did, BMI or ASCAP, or there's another one you can do now that's digital only. What is it, New Voodoo or something like that?
I
Anyway,
sure as hell don't subscribe to it.
well, someone actually filled out the paperwork on one of these dumb little viral video songs and made it official. And so let's check this out. This is the It's Corn song. Now, if any of you are incredibly immature yourself or have children, you know the It's Corn song because your kids have been singing it for half of 2022. So for the rest of you who don't have young kids and haven't been exposed to this, I'm going to play this for you right now. And this is hilarious because this could have happened with like the Slap Chop song, or this could have happened with so many of these other viral video songs if only someone would have gone to the intellectual property paperwork and filled it out. You know, and by the time you do that, you've already missed the boat because all the views or whatever has happened. But it finally happened. A legit top 100 song of 2022 was nothing more than a stupid viral video remix. And
Now, I don't think I've ever heard this. Do you think I've heard this before?
you may, because you have a son who is what, 13?
He's 13, but he's for the past 2 years, he's had his head buried in 80s metal. I mean, he's not really listening. You know what I mean? He's got.
Well, there's a sweet spot for kids who are probably 7 to 12, which is exactly where my kids are. And this is what they listen to. They don't listen to the radio. This song was never on the radio. And the person who sings this isn't even an artist, so they never went on tour. They've never played on the Tonight Show. They've never been a guest on Joe Rogan even. They were just catapulted solely through the viral properties of the song itself. No pushing from a record label or a management or an agent or anything. No tour, no merch, nothing. It's just a stupid viral video song, but it was literally popular enough to make it one of the top 100 songs. So pull it up. This song is called It's Corn.
It's Corn. Okay.
And Pugs, feel free to cut it off whenever you want. I can sit through the whole damn thing because I'm a father of 4 and I can do this all day. But if you can't, I understand.
If I've ever heard this.
For me, I really like corn.
What do you like about corn?
It's corn. A big open nose. It has the juice. I can't imagine a more beautiful thing. It's corn. I can tell you all about it. I mean, look at this thing. When I tried it, I don't anything cheese. But the best thing about corn is the grease. The corn break can restore your energy. You really appreciate that whole corn.
doesn't get any better.
Anything else you want to say about corn before we go?
On out.
Better? Oh, how could it get any better? That was fantastic, James. That was fantastic. I've never heard that before. I mean, I can see it's catchy. It's silly. That little kid is hysterically adorable.
Yeah,
What do you, it's a pun about corn, okay?
Just talking to people at the county fair, and then some other dude saw it on the internet and did a remix, and then it got passed around enough. And look, I have such strong feelings about this. You wouldn't think I would, because it's just some dumb random internet song that we've seen 1,000 times.
Awesome.
My feeling was like, trying to think of like, how do I personalize this? I know how.
You personalize it. Oh, you want the full screen? Is that what you're saying? You want to be
yeah, right. Can I have the floor, please?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm from Bug Tussle, but when I first moved to Dallas, like around 2000, like in 1999 or something, full time, I almost instantly became friends with the Toadies, and so the band that was probably their best friend was this band called Baboon. And Baboon is an amazing band. If you go listen to some of the songs that they were putting out 20 years ago, it stands the test of time. Any of these songs were better than half of the stuff that was on America's Top 40 the entire time I was fans of them. And after like 10 years or so of them just taking shots at it, eventually they gave up the ghost and went and did different directions. But these guys were ridiculously talented. Every single one of them was almost like a protege at their position. The lead singer, the lead guitarist, the bassist, the drummer was a phenomenon in his own right. And the amount of talent, skill, the songs, and they cranked out like 6 albums in 5 years, and every single one of them, every song on it is amazing. And they didn't get a top 100 song.
Well, maybe they should have sang about corn.
But some little
Sing about corn is the grease.
Yeah, I found it. It's now on my Spotify list, pal.
Do you really appreciate that whole?
This must kill.
Snob.
This must be so painful for real musicians who are putting out real music. And just,
well, how do you think the real musicians liked it 21, 22 years ago when they had the American Idol? What about all of these guys who were out there slugging it out on the road? They had these minor record deals getting absolutely no attention. And then some girl shows up for an audition at an amphitheater and becomes like the biggest star in Hollywood.
Okay, it's like that times 100, because Kelly Clarkson can actually sing. She just hadn't been putting in the work like these other people, and she doesn't have a whole band and hadn't been hitting the road and putting in her dues, and she gets to just leapfrog all these people. But she can still sing. This kid's not even singing, and it's a hit song.
This kid's a star.
He is a star.
What did Emmanuel Lewis have? I don't know, nothing until they made him Webster. What did Gary Coleman have? Absolutely. He had cute. That's what this kid's got. This kid's got cute. This kid's a star.
Are you just going through your inventory
of little black kids? Yeah. Little commercially successful black kids.
Corn dance.
A kid said this to me today. We had cream corn for dinner. They're like, that is corn.
Yeah, this is the money right here. Get into that chorus. You gotta get into it quicker though. If I was remixing this song, I'd get into this chorus and I would hammer the hell out of this chorus. They make you wait too much.
All right, and I give you the other side of the respect while I still have the floor. Here's what I love about this. Here's what I absolutely love about this. Billboard allowed this to be on their top 100 songs of 2022.
Allowed.
Well, listen, this is whether we like it or not. Maybe I'm putting too much stock in it, and it's not as.
What are you advocating for the Illuminati here?
No, I'm just saying it is an industry gatekeeper, and for a song to make the top 100 for someone who's not on a major label, not on a minor label, not on any label, never recorded a song, never released an album, and never played a concert, but Billboard led it on the Hot 100, and that is huge, because what this means is that the democratization, this is a horrible word for it, but the democratization of music is now as full blown as you could ever imagine it, where just some dude remixed an interview with a little black kid talking about corn, and the people liked it. There's a feeling of justice in this, because they can tell you that the new Taylor Swift album is millions of people chose this song. When millions of people sat on to watch YouTube, they chose this song, and they chose it more, whether you like it or not, than an AJR song, or they chose it more than the new stuff that came out from the Arctic Monkeys, or the new album that just came out from Beck. They chose this over Beyonce. They chose this over the new people like Cardi B, and then Meg the Stallion, and
Well, no, I think they charted much higher for the year than It's Corn. Cardi B had a better, don't you
I
think?
don't know, but for every almost billion people that have now watched this song, they chose to watch this song at that point in time instead of a Cardi B or a Meg the Stallion or Harry Styles. There's a lot of great options out there, and so it kind of gives a sense of legitimacy that you let filth like this on, because hey, they're being honest about it. If you get enough views and people like the song, it doesn't matter how sucky the song itself is. They will admit that.
I'll tell you again, it doesn't suck. It's Cone.
I can tell you all about it. I mean, look at this thing. When I tried it, I don't anything change. I hope you have a fantastic day.
A fantastic day.
Right, it's just a part of a group.
Just a pun about corn, okay? Come on, that is brilliant. Have a corntastic day. It's just a pun about corn, okay?
It's funny because I put this together yesterday, and my kids were singing this to me today, and I'm like, you don't know how much you're irritating me. You have no idea. I shouldn't have made cream corn for dinner, though. I was in charge of dinner tonight. But it's also funny that that's the Mr. Irrelevant song for 2022. That is 100. Number 99, though. Can I have the share screen again?
Yeah.
Because there's something else that's going on here. Because on this show, on the Pugs Parker broadcast, you heard many stories about me talking about what's going on the construction sites for many of these places where I was just making a little extra money, doing some side work, doing some construction. And so what that means is you're necessarily listening to regional Tejano music for 6 hours at a clip. And I'm telling you, man, I fell in love with it. I've had to listen to it before, working in Dallas and just being from Texas, you're exposed to it all over the place, especially in Bug Tussle. But this is one of the songs I had to hear all summer, and this was number 99 on the chart. This is Grupo Ferme with their friend Camilo. The song's called Alaska, but I don't think it's about Alaska.
Hoy me preguntaron que cuál era mi cerveza favorita y yo contesté cervezado por su boquita. Luego me dijeron my cerveza.
All right, I can see the appeal. I get it. I can totally see the appeal of that. But how is that different? This is the stuff that I heard or when I was growing up. I mean, and that's like classical, Midwestern polka right there. It sounds exactly like what you just played me, and I love it.
I think I would like classic Midwestern polka. I think that's yeah. Dude, isn't that weird how much Polish music overlaps with Mexican music, or at least in the north of Mexico, norteño music?
Was it access to tubas?
Accordion. They're a big fan of the accordion.
The accordion and tuba?
Yeah.
How did the Mexican people get the...
Well, look, we think of Mexican as some sort of other, but they are European, culturally speaking, very much so, because that accordion that shows up in Mexican music came from Spanish music, but it also shows up in a lot of French music. You can imagine some guy in a pantomime shirt with a little beret playing an accordion.
Polish music. It's Polish, German, Czechoslovakian polka. That's when I think of the accordion. That's
right. And there's a lot of
story.
Right. And that's a very German, Czech,
Yeah.
Polish
So
sort of
how do you get all the way down to Spain and then all the way across the river and then like two subcultures, Midwestern white Wisconsin
Look, if you rub your
Americans and Mexicans embraced it.
right, but if you like rub your beard and peruse your memory, you're like, wait, the accordion has a pretty strong presence in Italian music too. So really, it is sort of a ubiquitous Western European, and I mean Poland isn't really Western Europe, but you know what I mean, sort of first world European.
All over.
Yeah, and so I'm happy the Mexicans picked it up. The real question is, why didn't we pick it up more? I'm loving this instrument, and I love the tuba.
And you know what? The tuba and the accordion together? Oh, you kidding me? Oh, that's the best.
Right,
Not-
and like New Orleans is so close because New Orleans does the brass band where they'll have a tuba. There's a lot of tubas in New Orleans, and it's a very pro tuba town, and you will like that about New Orleans when you go there. I wish they would pick up more accordions, though. I really do. Because yeah,
Kids don't learn the accordion. I don't know what happened with the accordion, but you know, by the time like my generation, the accordion was not a cool instrument. It was made fun of in situation comedies, like the nerdy fat kid always got stuck playing the accordion. It wasn't
Weird Al
anything-
plays the accordion ironically.
Yeah,
like he knows-
ironically, right? Although ironically, straight to the bank, right? I mean, Weird Al is owned it.
successfully, but ironically.
Weird Al is obviously, I would think, the most famous accordion player in the history of the world, right?
What was your dude that you used to give pizza to or deliver pizza to? I think he might be bigger.
This is Eddie Blazonczyk. Now, Weird Al might say, no, look, I'm no Eddie Blazonczyk. But I think the rest of the world would go, no, yeah, you are. You're Weird Al. You're much bigger than Eddie Blazonczyk. So, here,
Yeah,
let's party. Hold on, let's listen to a little Let's Have a Party. Tell me how this is different than what the Mexican guys were listening to.
Spread out the cheer. We'll play a polka for everyone that's here. Come to the party, joining the fun, singing and dancing till evening's done. You bring your sweetheart and I'll bring mine. Now from you, everybody, it's party.
It's party time. That's the name of the song. That's all they sing about is drinking beer and partying.
Yeah. Now switch to the next. There you go. Do a
Hold
Mac
on.
attack.
You're starting to fade. Your connection. Are you streaming something?
Hey, Mac attack.
Oh, we were having so much fun for 25 minutes. I can't. No. Stop. Whatever it is. Can you stop the other thing? Yeah.
I did.
There you go. All right. Now I can hear you.
All right, that's about all I got. I was perusing the funny thing is here's also a weird observation is just to check out something to talk about on the show. I went and checked out the Billboard Top 100 for 2022, and we ended up talking about the last two songs exclusively, not number one, not the top 10. We
What is
talked
number
about
one?
Who gives a shit?
Watermelon
I
sugar.
don't even know. It was like, oh man,
Harry
what-
Styles.
no,
Was it
it
Harry
was
Styles? Watermelon sugar.
no, it was no Watermelon Sugar High was 2021, but
Was it last year? I thought I heard that. I'm going off something that I think I overheard, but yeah, maybe it was a year ago. When you get to be my age, you know.
I don't even remember what it was. I had heard the song when I played it, but it didn't seem like that big of a hit. And dude, it's understandable.
It's
I'm
the biggest hit. That's an indication. See, I love that about your worldview. It's not that you're just old and out of it. It's that it's that it can't possibly be a real hit because you're unaware of it.
well, no, look, let's be fair. If this was like the 80s or the 90s and there was the top 10 songs of the year, you would have heard
Yeah.
all of them. But because they're measured by YouTube and Spotify, there's like 4 international songs that we just wouldn't have heard.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's one aspect of it. But I think the greater aspect of it is we might not be as familiar with it because we're not 18 anymore. When we were 18.
Yeah, right. No, fair enough. But for a song that peaked at like 52 here in America, but had a bigger following in Europe, that's the one, because you got to count YouTube views or YouTube views. It doesn't matter if it comes from Indonesia or Louisiana, it counts the same. So stuff that we're not necessarily as familiar with here in the United States, the Billboard has become more international than it used to be.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they used to be able to divvy it up, but it's really hard to divvy up YouTube views.
Okay, list of Billboard Hot 100 number ones for the year 2022.
Hot 100 number ones. Why
Yeah,
did you look at the number ones? No, look at the Hot 100 for the year of 2022.
that's what I'm looking for. All
Oh.
right. List of Billboard Hot. All right, just, you know what? I hate to have to do this during the show. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find Florida stores, James?
Were you looking something up and you need me to fill some time?
Of course.
So Florida Stories is I would like to give props to the guy who is more responsible for Florida Stories than you know. That's Walter Sterling. He has the Walter Sterling show on Sundays. And in 2018, I met Walter Sterling for the second time. The first time I met him, he was my boss's boss in Sirius. And he got tired of being like a radio bigwig, started his own show. And when I met him, he's like, "Hey, what can you do on my show? You want to do a segment on my show? You're a funny guy." And I pitched him a bunch of stuff and he picked Florida Stories. And so now 150 episodes later, it's a podcast that gets me, a few thousand views every month and seems to be doing okay.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's dude, if you don't like Florida Stories, something's wrong with you. I challenge you to listen to Florida Stories, and if you don't like it, you're a dick. It's good. It's fun. Turn your brain off. Enjoy it. It's just crazy fun stories, and there's nothing for anyone to complain about.
All right. You got anything else you want to get into?
Oh, yeah, that was just my fantastic breakdown of the Billboard Hot 100 for 2022. I would like to hear your thoughts now that we've had a little time to process it on the Damar Hamlin situation.
Well, okay, my thoughts on it. So the latest, there is a bit of an update. Let me see what is the where's the story? I had this pulled up as one of the things that I wanted to mention. He's still not doing great. He's still in the hospital. I think the real concern is about did he suffer any brain damage? Because when you go through this, look, everybody's hoping that he has a full and complete recovery, as we talked about with Jeremy Renner. But what does that mean for a 24-year-old professional football player? Because to me, it would mean he's back out on the field next year. That means that he's playing again next year. That's a full and complete
recovery, right?
And anything short of that, and holy cow, I wonder. He's a member of the National Football League Players Association, and I understand that for guys who are actively playing, they have some incredible benefits. Like if because this happened to him while he was a player, they're not so great historically at taking care of the retired players, but the guys who are actually playing in season and all that. So. He'll be taken care of. He has great health insurance, obviously. God, I don't know. All you can do is just hope for the full and complete recovery. They do now know. Last night we were kind of going back and forth on this. They basically, the doctors are all in agreement. They know what this is. It's something called. Did you read anything about this? Commotio cordis, which is this is what I tried to ham-fistedly describe last night. It's being hit in a specific spot of the heart in the front during the exact moment of a specific place in the heart rhythm. So it's like such a rare thing because you can take this direct hit to the heart all the time and be fine. But if your heart, which goes through some electro something, look, I'm not a doctor, some kind of rhythm, it's like a circular rhythm. If the part of the rhythm is right at the moment of impact, that's when you have this thing called commotio cordis. And they were talking about it all day today on one of the live. Steve, I don't know if you know Steve Lookner is. I know he's pretty great. What was it Lookner? I don't know. Anyway, they were talking about it, how it's incredibly common in other sports, not so much football, but baseball. We see it all the time. And not all the time. Don't want to overstate it. Maybe one in every
More often.
More often, yes. More commonly associated with taking a line drive to the chest. More commonly associated with being hit by pitch. More commonly associated with a pitcher taking a liner right off the bat, right back to him. They see it in lacrosse, which I'm not really all that familiar with the sport, but I suppose it's the same thing because I know that they flick a hard ball, with great velocity from these sticks. What was the other thing? Chris Pronger. I saw Chris Pronger was on CNN tonight
Oh,
talking.
the hockey guy.
Yeah, talking about his bout with he took a slap shot directly to the chest and then skated a few steps and then collapsed. He was on CNN tonight talking about it. So look, if that's what it is, then they know how to treat it and they know what to expect, and they're not sharing any details now. From what I understand, he's still sedated, which cannot be a good thing.
Well, one of the reasons we like to dig into what the actual prognosis was is there anything we can change, or is there anything we can do to prevent this, or at least lessen the likelihood that this will happen in the future? And the answer really is kind of no.
Absolutely not.
Sorry for
I,
such an unsatisfying answer, but
no.
no.
Yeah, it's a random freak occurrence that is just something that you have to account for. That this is something that could happen if you play a sport. This is part of the frailty of the human body. And I know that in baseball and in hockey they have sternum protectors, that they wear specifically for these kinds of shots, direct shots to the front of the heart. But no, and the people that I got really upset with. You saw them all over on Twitter today, are the people who said, this is where we need to have a national reclamation on football. James, we need to all talk about football. We need to get together and we need to talk about what we're putting our children through.
No.
Which is
Football
complete
players pick
nonsense.
on you when you're in high school and you've always been wanting to take them down a peg. And you're
I don't know if that's it, but I think that
they're all nerds.
I think that we can and have had a reasonable conversation about the dangers of football over the past decade plus. The revelations concerning CTE and innovations that they've put forth into helmets and all that stuff, they're taking that stuff very seriously. And that is something that should be taken seriously. And if you want to talk about the dangers of it and how it's just inherently dangerous, that is ground zero. This thing that happened to Damar, excuse me, I keep forgetting, Hamlin, this thing that happened to Damar Hamlin is so rare. It's not something and it's specifically not something that can only happen in football. In fact, it's much rarer that it occurs in football. It's much more common in sports, as I said, hockey, baseball, lacrosse.
Well, I think what you just said means a lot, because the concern I have when I see a horrific injury like that is, what are they going to do to change my beloved sport next? They've already put the quarterback in a dress. Like, how much more do you want? And so, good. Hey, this is a freak occurrence. You don't have to put everyone in bubble wrap. Stop messing with my game. We're
exactly. It's not like we have a whole bunch to recall instances where this very same thing concerning this thing has happened.
Right.
This is from the head. The head issue is different. We've seen a lot of examples of that. This we've never seen a whole bunch of examples of.
And of course, I don't want to say there's no one, but I'm not anti-safety, and I don't want kids needlessly getting concussions or getting hurt or whatever. But we can't only allow our children and society at large to participate in completely safe activities at all times, because we're just going to raise just the biggest generation of sissies. And at some point, like it or not, we're going to have to ask the young men of our society to storm the beaches in Normandy again. And I would like for them to have been able to play more than just like a Nerf football game.
No, we won't. Drones, robots, we're never doing that again. Okay. Look, I understand what you're saying. And if you're a parent and you tell me that, my kid plays football. My kid loves football. His whole life is football. He's a big football meatball, right? If you're a parent and you tell me you don't want your kid to play football, organized youth league or high school or whatever, man, I respect that. I totally get it, because I happen to agree that CTE is a very real thing. And there are instances of, Henry, was it not Derrick Henry? Chris Henry, the wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. Remember, in the middle of the season, he fell off the back of a moving pickup truck and died. Well, they autopsied his body at 26 years old, and he already had CTE. So you don't have to sell me on that. If you're a concerned parent and you're worried about that, that's fine. I understand. I, however, grew up playing football and had such an incredible time, the memories, the camaraderie, the things I learned, the being a part of a team, and all that stuff. Extra important for me as an only child. And I see that my own son is having those same experiences, these irreplaceable moments from growing up that he'll always remember. His team lost every game this season. They were a brand new team. They lost every game. He is never going to forget this football season, the year that he lost every single game, because he came from an all-star team. He came from a team that was winning, and then he got on a select all-star team. So this was a new experience. We understand that there is a risk, but I also understand the benefits. So are we willing to take that risk for us and our family?
Most of the stuff worth pursuing in life has risk, and some of it is to the health of your skull, some of it is to the health of your mental well-being, some of it is detrimental to your financial health. But most of the things that you go through in life that are worth a damn are associated with risk. So
Life is risky, man. Life is. What are you kidding me? You're talking about taking active involvement in your world and accepting the risks that come with it. Above and beyond that, just waking up in the morning is a risk. How are all of your little capillaries in your brain doing? You can get an aneurysm today at 12:15. Your head gonna explode. You're gonna get a pain in your side all of a sudden and learn that you have stage 4 cancer. Everything. Just live your life, man. Stop being afraid of everything. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about this so much over the last 5 days because I just lost one of my probably top 5 best friends in the world. And one of the things I was thinking about for John/Rebecca is all the years I saw people giving when it was presenting as John mostly, people giving him crap for smoking cigarettes. Oh, you need to quit smoking. You still smoke? You don't even at least vape or. Because only less than 1 out of 5 people in America smoke anymore. And so he was ostracized hard, and Bruce and the 3 other people that smoked on the 3rd floor always had to go out to the balcony to smoke. And it was like the smokers leper colony out there. And you know what? None of that freaking mattered. It wasn't the cigarettes that killed him. He didn't get lung cancer or emphysema or any of that. He died because he didn't keep up with his diabetes medication. So everyone that harassed him about smoking cigarettes was harassing him for nothing. There was no negative consequences or big negative consequences to his life for smoking. He could have smoked 10 cigarettes more a day and had the same result. So I don't know, man. Everybody stop being so judgy.
Well, they can't, you see, James, because everybody takes for granted the delicateness of life. Everybody, James, in everybody's mind, everybody's going to live to be 100 years old. Everybody's going to live to a ripe old age of 100 years old, and yet they never even consider anything else. And they walk around blindly just taking for granted all of the things I just described to you. Let if you want to smoke. If I develop cancer in 40 years, you know what? Thankfully, I lived 40 years because some of you won't. Some of you people judging me are going to get hit by a bus crossing the street. Some of you are going to go down in a plane crash in 5 years. Some of you are going to, you know what I mean? Life is precious. Every single freaking minute. Just be happy. God, I sound like a nihilist now. I sound like somebody who just has given up. A positive one, to be sure. But
Right. A good-hearted nihilist.
Good-hearted one. With the best of intention. Okay.
Well, think about Jeremy Renner. He's been watching his cholesterol and making sure his blood pressure is staying under, and then he gets run over by a snowplow.
Ain't that the truth? Hold on. Let me. I just got signed out. Can you still hear me?
I can. You sound fine.
You can. All right.
You sound extremely handsome, Pugs.
Well, thank you. All right. Very good. Oh, I wanted to mention you brought something up about how nobody smokes anymore. It's so funny because I was just thinking about that the other day because out in front of the 7-Eleven, or no, it's not a 7-Eleven. I just call them all generically 7-Elevens. It's a, you know what I mean? It's like a racetrack or whatever, but the convenience store. I go there for the convenience store. And standing outside of it was like a 17-year-old kid smoking a cigarette, a real live cigarette. And
Raven, I'm so proud of him.
And he was like 17 years old, and I'm walking by him, and he's just smoking his Bob. James, he was like the coolest teenager you ever saw. He's like
listening to a Walkman.
Yeah. No. But it was. I did. It was.
What
It
the
was
hell?
rare enough that it registered with me that, oh my God, I don't think I've seen a teenager smoking a cigarette in 15 years.
You should bully him. You should be like, get a vape, you troglodyte, whatever.
Use one of them long hairs. Yeah, I was worried about him. I'm an old man. I don't need that action. I don't need that smoke, literally. Okay.
Good though. That's fantastic.
Hey, so with our remaining moments here, you mind if I take the floor? Because there is something that I wanted to talk about.
Is it about the Idaho murder suspect crap?
It is. It is. Because
I am so pissed at our mutual friend Lisa Marie.
screw her.
for-
We're not going to wait for her. I'm just as involved in this as she
Can't.
is.
I
The only
want
reason- I'm talking about it every single day on one of my streams. Are you kidding me? And she's the one that gets to go on Dr. Phil? Why?
Right.
Because I'm not pretty enough?
no. Well, how big are your boobs, Pugs?
Pretty big, if we're being honest. All right. So Brian Koberger, he said, nah, don't worry about the extradition. He went to court in Pennsylvania and they had to extradite him, so they got to go in front of a judge. So he said, nah, don't worry about it. You can just send me back, boys. He's being very cooperative, at least in that regard. And so he's back in Idaho now. They booked him here. Let me, where's the latest? No, that's not it. Yeah. All right. Anyway, he's back in Idaho. And now, James, we are beginning. See, there's an Idaho law that says that if Idaho's got some dirt on you, they're not going to make public what that dirt is until they have you in custody with them. And it's a pretty good law because, basically they're not going to release any of the evidence or what they believe the motive to be or how they tracked him. Idaho cannot release any of that until he goes in front of a judge in Idaho, and the judge looks at it and goes, oh yeah, this looks legit. I think you did. And then they can release it. And I guess the fear is that you can trump up charges on anybody, release it, and nobody will remember that the judge dismissed it because it was all. So anyway, that's why there has been this sort of absence of any sort of interesting information about how they got this guy. But over the course of the last 12 hours, things have started to trickle out. Why? Because he's in Idaho. And I think that, now that he's actually in the custody of Idaho, and tomorrow they'll probably, see a judge and everything will come out. But have you seen the police pullover videos? Brian Koberger, I don't even give a shit if I get his name right. He was coming back to Pennsylvania, I guess for the holidays, and his dad flew up to Washington State University, which, James, have you looked at a Google map of Washington? This dude, okay, remember, these murders took place on the campus of Idaho, University of Idaho. And this dude lived 10 minutes away on the campus of the Washington State University. Look at it on a map. I've never seen anything like this. It's basically like two big colleges, two legitimate colleges, like within 10 minutes of each other. I've never heard of this. Anyway, so his dad flew from Pennsylvania there, and they were going to drive back to Pennsylvania together in the white Elantra that everybody in the world's been looking for the past 5 weeks. I don't know why this didn't dawn on Dad. Hey, don't you have a white Elantra? And while they were making their way cross country, they were stopped in Indiana twice by 2 Indiana state troopers. And you know what they were stopped?
What the hell?
Oh, yeah.
Why twice? Why'd they get pulled over?
Well, isn't this fun? By the way, you can maybe pull up the video on your end since it's easier to play if you want to quickly Google search that. You don't have to, but I'm just saying it's out there. It's just raw police video of him being pulled over.
Brian Koberger.
Brian Koberger, Indiana police stop. Just put that and you'll get the video. I think the first one is the better one. Anyway. So he gets pulled over twice in Indiana with his dad on their way back to Pennsylvania for the exact same reason. Tailgating too closely and that's such a bullshit trumped up. Nobody gets pulled over. Well,
yeah, they're pulling over all the white Elantras is what they're doing. Tailgating my ball sack. Do you have any? All right. Anyway, yeah, we have a couple of them. Dang.
Anyway, it seemed odd. That on this day, the day that he didn't fight extradition, was probably on his way or already in Idaho, that this story comes out tonight. Fox News, this came out just like 10 minutes before we jumped on the stream here. Idaho murders. FBI directed Indiana police to pull over Brian Kohlberger seeking video images of his hands. So the reason he was pulled over twice for the same nonsense charge by Indiana State Police is because the FBI, see, they have been on him for weeks and they were following him across country and they wanted to get images of his hands because
they had images of his hands and some other surveillance video tied to the crime or whatever.
Defensive wounds, or not, I guess they would be offensive wounds since they came from him. But, they wanted to see what it does is it suggests that they have his blood or that they have some blood that may match his DNA. And they want to see if maybe he's got cuts on his hands. At any rate, Idaho murders. FBI directed Indiana police to pull him over twice. They knew that the police, body cam would film all of the stuff that they needed. So this was released tonight. A Federal Bureau of Investigation surveillance team tracked Idaho quadruple murder suspect Brian Kohlberger and his father on a cross-country road trip from Washington State to Pennsylvania.
And share screen here?
Yeah. Oh, you got it up? Okay. And asked the Indiana State Police to pull him over. A law enforcement source has told Fox News. All right. So is this one of them or is this both of them? What is it? I don't know.
This is one of them.
All right. Hit play. Go ahead.
Recording.
Well, remember now, this guy knows who this is the suspect in the murder. The FBI.
Yeah, so that's the Hyundai Elantra, right?
Hello. How you doing? How y'all doing today?
Yeah,
Good. Take a look at your driver's license real quick if I could. See, he's right up on that van, man. He was right up on the back end of that van. Pulled you over for tailgating. Is this your car?
Hang on a second. So we have the date on this as December 15th. When was the murders?
Like the week before Thanksgiving.
So this is at least almost 3 weeks later.
Oh no, this is like a month later. Yeah, this is when he's going back to Pennsylvania for the holidays with his parents. School is out for the semester. He's going home on Christmas break, and his dad is driving back with him.
All right, you see that dude's face. That's the guy that they arrested, right?
Oh yeah. The driver is Brian Kohlberger.
Wow. So this guy a month ago. So look, I'm always interested in these stories because right now you and I are trying to solve this mystery. But for he and his dad,
I don't think it's much of a mystery. I think he did it.
Yeah. 3 weeks ago, that guy that's talking to the cop right now stabbed 4 people to death. The guy in the passenger seat 3 weeks ago, the son who is driving the car stabbed 4 people to death, and you're trying to help him get away with it.
Oh, no. Stop there. Don't go there. We don't know that right now. He's just a dad. And if you watch this video, there are points. This is the sad part. He is so proud of his son. He starts bragging on his kid to the cop. Yeah, he's a PhD doctoral student. He's so proud.
Dad doesn't know?
No, of course not. No. I mean, I don't believe. No, of course not. No, he's just being a dad. He's just helping him get back and move some of his stuff.
He's helping him get out of a traffic stop. Maybe dad doesn't know if you just stab 4 people to death and your dad flies out to drive home with you for the holidays. You're not going to tell him.
Wait, go back. What did you say?
Up to?
Wait. What did you say? What did you say?
If you stab 4 people to death and then your dad came to fly across the continent so you would have company to drive back across the continent and y'all had nothing but 21 hours of road trip time to get some things off your chest, you don't think the quadruple stabbing would come up?
No, not if you're a psychopath. Of course not. You're playing a role. I mean, obviously the way here, you go back and play it. Listen to his dad actually starts bragging on him. No, this dad thinks he's got a Prince Charming of a son. This kid is Patrick Bateman. He's the American Psycho.
Okay, but number one, even if your kid is Patrick Bateman, American Psycho, wouldn't you help him get away with it? Or some people help him get away with it? Maybe dad is helping him. Maybe not you because you're
maybe, but I think the likelihood of that at this point is so low that it's irresponsible to speculate. Let's just go with dad doesn't.
Your driver's license real quick if I could.
At this point.
See, he's right up on that van, man. He was right up on the back end of that van. Pulled you over for tailgating. Is this your car? Okay. Cool. Where are you headed?
Well, we coming from WSU, and we're standing for.
All right, pause it. Pause it.
What's WSU?
If you can, because something very interesting just happened there. Okay, and you might want to back it up too, so we can watch it again. The police officer asks them, "Where are you going to?" And Brian Koberger lies and says, "Oh, we're just looking for some Thai food." And then the dad turns to the cop and goes, "Well, actually, we're coming back." Like it's a total lie. He just instinctively lied to the cop, and then the dad, who was probably seemingly totally oblivious to all of this, the dad goes, "Well, no, actually," and then starts making small talk with the cop.
I know exactly what you're saying, and that is solid evidence to affirm the case that the dad doesn't know. Because if the dad did know, he wouldn't be like, "Hey, the biggest murder scene in the country that is all over the news. We just came from there, and we're on the run 8 states
Right.
away."
But dad's going to talk to the cop about some news event that obviously didn't make national news that is happening right now. There's some kind of SWAT team mass shooting at Washington State University. The cop is going to talk, or the you'll see. At any rate,
Wow.
Go back again, just a couple of seconds.
I backed it up like 10 seconds.
The cop says, "Where are you going?" And he immediately lies and says, "We're just looking for some Thai food." And then the dad goes, "No, actually, we're coming from." Watch Brian Koberger's reaction when his dad blows the lie.
Dad, if you could just shut up.
Exactly.
Where you headed?
Exactly.
Where you headed?
Well, we coming from WSU, and we're standing for.
What's WSU?
University, basically. That is SWAT team and everything.
So we're okay. I'm having a hard time hearing you because of the traffic. So you're coming from Washington State University, and you're going where?
The cop knows that already because the FBI told them who they're dealing with. They're just confirming that they have the right guy.
For hours.
Hours, days.
Hours to drive. Well, almost a day.
Okay. And what did you say about some SWAT team thing? Or
Yeah, there was a mass shooting and everything.
Where?
All right, Pugs, explain what's going on here. There was a mass shooting at Washington State because they're talking about something that they both know about, but I don't know about.
Yeah, I don't know about it either. But apparently neither does this cop. But for some reason, they're like, "Yeah, did you hear about it? There was just a mass shooting at Washington." So that's very weird. Nobody's heard about it. I haven't looked it up. Maybe there was, but I don't know. Anyway.
Continue.
Interesting.
Well, it's horrifying. He's going to the university, you know what I mean?
So y'all work at the university there?
Catch that? Did you catch what he did? Did you catch what the cop did? The cop put the driver's license right up to the camera for a split second so that it got a clear view of everything on the driver's license. You watch it again. He takes the driver's license from him and goes like this.
Doesn't know what's in the frame of his body cam.
No, of course cops do. Nowadays.
Okay.
There it is.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't heard about that incident. Just yesterday, or?
This happened this morning.
After this morning, I hadn't heard about this incident.
I'm not sure there's two shooters because they did shoot somebody.
Let's see.
And then we don't know about that actually. They were there.
So just making random small talk conversation about crime.
Wow. Okay. So do me a favor, don't follow too close, okay? All right. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Wow.
All right. So, I mean, the story about the FBI admitting that they had put the Indiana police up to this, that didn't break, as I said, till about 9:00 tonight, just as we were going on the air is when Fox News published that story. Now, all day long, we in the community who've been online, playing with this story, we've been speculating. I need to stop sharing it.
No, share it and I'll just turn the audio off. How about that?
We've been speculating all day about this seems fishy. Why because both times they get pulled over twice. There's a second video out there as well. They get pulled over twice. Both times the cop never goes back to his own vehicle the way every cop who's ever pulled us over does with our driver's license. The cop never runs the information. You never see him doubt anything. He just takes the driver's license.
All right, I think this other video I found is the second one.
All right, let's see.
Because it's a body cam, but the body cam's not pointed in the right direction. So this is what we're dealing with here. And he looked like he was in a different car. The first cop was in an SUV, and this dude was in what looked like just a regular old sedan of some sort.
Yeah. The first cop was in a black SUV. All right. And then this cop, when they say you're the second cop to pull us over, if this is the second video, they'll say you're the second cop to pull us over. This cop will play dumb and blame like some county cop for the first pullover. You'll see. When in fact we now know the FBI put both state troopers.
Yeah, let me jump forward. Oh, this guy.
Oh, there's the Elantra right there.
There's the pullover.
All right, let's see. Jeez, was this guy shooting a?
Hey, so are all cars up north this dirty because of snow?
Yes.
Because because I don't ever see that down here, and that just looks ridiculously bad.
Snow, and mostly it's not snow and dirt or dirty snow. It's mostly road salt. That's dirt mixed with road salt that sticks to the car and just wreaks havoc.
Oh, okay. So this is
this is dash cam. We want body cam.
Yeah.
All
right.
Well, that's okay. I wanted to talk to you about maybe we can save this for tomorrow because I'm sure there'll be more information. We'll probably get the motive in a press conference and all of that good stuff tomorrow. So I want to talk about this again tomorrow. But I want to leave you with this. Everybody is talking about how he is, he's working towards his PhD in criminology and that he knows the ins and the outs of all of this kind of stuff and that he's a super genius. And oh my God, he was trying to perfect the perfect crime. Let me just leave you with this tonight, James. What if that's all bullshit? What if he's just a moron? What if he's just, because it seems to me like now that we're starting to see the links and we're starting to see, he was there. He was openly wearing rubber gloves around town. He changed his car registration 5 days after from Pennsylvania to Washington. I don't know. Anyway, I want to talk about some of these things that are coming out now that may suggest that this Brian Kohlberger is in fact just a moron and probably not this super genius that everybody seems to be wanting to paint him as.
No, super genius, definitely not. The one thing I noticed in 20 years of covering stories like this, and many of them with you, is these people aren't nearly as smart as they think they are.
It's narcissism. It's ego and narcissism. Yeah.
Man, isn't it? It's beyond weird.
And I get it. I get it. And you to some degree do as well, because I look around at some of the idiots that I see out there in the world and it makes me feel fairly superior. Like, well, you know what? At least I'm not that moron. So I guess if you amplified that over a lifetime and mixed in a little bit of mental illness, maybe a little psychopathy, something like that, you might end up with what we're dealing with here, a guy who thinks he can perpetrate the perfect crime. Well, we'll see. All right, James, there he goes.
Another amazing show.
Yeah.
By the way, someone asked earlier where you can find the Florida story. Oh, that was Jeff Glenn. By the way, good to see you, Jeff Glenn. We were missing you for a few days and thought maybe you died or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, Florida stories. All you gotta do is look for it, dude. It's Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you're, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, everywhere, freaking everywhere. Look for it. Florida stories. Oh, and we do have a soft date on when there will be a memorial gathering for John Osterlin / Rebecca Pratt. You are invited, Pugs, if you want to ride with me.
Yay!
We're looking at not this Saturday, but next Saturday.
Ride with you. What was a parade? A New Orleans style float? What do you mean ride with
I mean to New Orleans.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're in Tyler. Oh yeah, that would be better. I'll drive out to you. All right. All right, there he goes.
I'll let you know when
I'm gone. There he goes. He is gone. He is gonzo. All right, thank you, folks. Fun show. We'll see you tomorrow at noon for High Noon. High Noon is a show I do every Monday through Friday at high noon. It's a stream right here, same place. And it's just all the topics of the day. We don't do politics. We don't do anything divisive. We don't do stupid nonsense. If it's trending, if it's a headline, if it's a hot topic, if it's stuff people are buzzing about or talking about, I will run down a list of all the things happening in the world. Every day I do it, Monday through Friday. We call it High Noon with me, Pugs Moran. And that's the next time I will be sitting in this incredibly uncomfortable chair. You know what? I've never told you guys about this stupid chair. I mean, it's actually kind of a cool chair, but you know what? Chair stories for another night. See you tomorrow at noon.
The best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I can smile a little now, things are going good. I always had to be on guard, that is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending